I speed up. It's quite a small roundabout, so you need to either slow down enough to turn left or speed up and get the fuck straight out of there. I go straight, and as we pass, the woman attempts to launch herself out of my car as the man looks like he was...
Not a video, a live stream. And watching a video called Top 15 True Stories. You guys see it right there. Warning, if you don't like scary things or don't like to hear it, do not watch this live stream. You have been warned, I guess. So, yeah. You have been warned. Let's get to this video. Let's get to the live stream. Keep saying video, no mind. Let's get to this live stream.
Trying to stop her. We get home about 3 or 4 minutes later and we're both shaken and basically scared shitless. Called the police to inform them of what we saw and just got a call back the next morning explaining how a woman had somehow run away from a mental home and was attempting to commit suicide using sharp objects and running onto main roads. The man was one of the first workers who knew her on the scene and apparently they managed to bring her back to where she lived. Heard nothing more after that. Number 6. We were partying at a usual party spot by the river and some dude came out of the woods. He just kept saying weird shit like you gotta watch yourself down there. There's some really bad folks around here. When we asked who he was, he just said, I'm nobody. We're all a little sketched out and basically told the guy to fuck off. A couple of days later, a girl went off the rope swing there and got really fucked up. Someone put fish hooks all over.
Dude, if you don't like scary stuff or don't like to hear scary stuff, don't watch this if you don't like that stuff. But if you do, watch it. I've warned you. This is scary. This could give you probably nightmares by looking at the pictures. This will give you nightmares. Pretty much will give you nightmares. I'm not even kidding. We'll give you nightmares. Okay? You have been warned. Whoa. Okay.
The bottom of the rope swing, and it took chunks of flesh out of her leg. Later we found out that the dude was just a guy who lived nearby, and although it was a creepy drunk, he was totally harmless. There was a fucked up, probably inbred family that lived up the road that he would warn people about. About 5 years later, last year, they beat up some kid with a log and then kidnapped some girl at gunpoint and took her on a joyride. Number 5. When I was about 10, me and my family of 6 lived in an extremely small apartment. 2-bedroom upstairs and then the living room. When I was tired of my siblings, I would sleep downstairs. One night I'm lying on the couch facing the front door and watching the sky through the window by the door when a face shows up in the window illuminated by a lighter. I'm pretty relieved thinking it was maybe one of our druggy neighbors seeing if my parents were still awake when it showed up again. I try to scream, but when I do, nothing comes out, not a sound. The person then kicks in the door and walks in the room. He sees me, smiles, goes towards the kitchen. As he comes out of the kitchen with a knife, my dad makes it down the stairs and the guy books it out of there. I can't sleep easily on couches to this day. Number 4. I was 6 or 7 years old in my parents' apartment and heading towards the kitchen. So I go towards the kitchen where my mom is talking on the phone. At the end of the corridor in front of me, I see the front door opening and halting because of the door chain holding it. I thought it was my dad. It was about 11 in the morning, so I think my dad will close the door and ring the doorbell for my mom to open up the chain. It was weird because I hadn't heard the key turning, except that nobody rings the door and an enormous hairy hand that definitely doesn't belong to my father tries to pull on the chain. Immediately, I understand it's a burglar. I rush to slam shut the door with my entire body while I whine a little no. So there's me slamming the door with all my 7-year-old strength, panicked out of my mind, and then putting all my weight against the wood. Huge burglar on the other side trying to keep the door open so we can pull the chain off. Fingers trying to grasp the end of the chain and my mother completely oblivious about 12 feet away in the next room. I tried to scream at my mother. I remember yelling muffled pieces of Mom, Mom, but she thinks I'm horsing around and pays no attention. It's after my 7th or 8th scream when I was about to give up all hope when I heard my mom that she'll call her back because I've done something and she needed to check on me. The burglar heard her and let me close the door. My mom arrives and demands to know what I'm doing. I'm crying at that point, not being able to utter a coherent sentence, trying to point at the door, saying only burglar out or something to that effect. My mother, not getting the hint, comes over and tries to open the door to see what the fuss is all about, with me still pushing against it. As soon as I realized what she was about to do, I tried to push her away, crying, sobbing at her, don't open the door, there's a burglar outside. I had to fall on my ass, then on my knees, and beg her against trying to push me aside before she decided to change her mind and see through the people instead of opening the door. So she looks through it in a hurry and starts saying, see, there's no one, and I see her very annoyed face turning pale as a sheet all of a sudden. She grabs me and pushes me aside from the door and tells me to go get her phone. I rush to the kitchen. I heard her yell through the door, "I can see you crouching. You're behind the door. I'm not gonna open, and I'm calling the police right this minute." The bastard was still behind the door, crouching as low as he could, not making a sound, so my mom would think no one was outside as she opened the door and he'd rush inside. My mom called the police, and after 5 minutes of my mom issuing threats through the door, we heard someone creeping away from the hallway, down the building entrance and outside the building door. My mom was white as a sheet, not making a sound or expressing any emotion throughout the whole ordeal. After about half an hour later, my father arrived, oblivious to the whole thing. When my mom told him about what happened, he went and got a new lock and a better door chain. The police arrived that afternoon, a full 5 hours later. Even though the police station is a 10-minute drive from our house, I don't think the burglar was ever caught. Number 3. My mom had been calling a lot. It was my first semester away at college, and her husband had gone batshit insane. He hit her for the first time 4 nights before I moved out. She locked him out of the house and he banged on the doors. In the middle of the night, he had driven away and hadn't seen him since. When I answered, she said she had gotten a phone call while she was watching TV. The person on the other end of the line said he had been hired to kill her and her kids, but if she could make him a better offer, he wouldn't do it. He told her what TV show she was watching. He told her what dorm I lived in. He told her that my brother was upstairs playing video games when he was supposed to be asleep. She ran upstairs. My little brother was playing video games in his room. She yelled at him to pack a bag. The person on the phone had hung up. She called me. I waited for 45 minutes before leaving, hoping my roommates would show up and help me figure out what to do. I said I'd call the police, but my mom said no. She said please come help her. My roommates didn't come home. The RA was gone. I got into my truck and made a 45-minute drive in 20 minutes. The highway was nearly deserted. I hoped a police officer would pull me over. They'd know what to do and I'd be able to say I hadn't called the cops. I accidentally missed my turn when my mother called me 3 times in a row. I accidentally ran a red light when I answered. A cop was right there. He didn't pull me over. When I got to our neighborhood, I parked 2 streets away and used my ROTC tactical movements to go through the alleys to our backyard. I tried to call my mother 3 times, but she didn't answer. I put my phone on vibrate. The gate was closed, but when I opened it, I saw a back door standing open. No one was out there. I hesitated and went in, calling out softly for our dogs. They weren't there. Those dogs bark at everything. They were either not in the house or they were dead. I got a knife from the kitchen and started a room-by-room search. Kitchen and laundry room were clear. I refused to check the garage. Dining room clear. Living room clear. But oh fuck, there's a broken vase. Downstairs bathroom clear. I didn't go into the master bedroom because I fully expected to find my mother dead. I needed to get upstairs to the second bedroom on the right, my bedroom, to get my rifle, the only gun in the house, but no one was downstairs and the upstairs was completely dark. There was a blind corner right at the top of the stairs. Anyone could be hiding there. I was 100% freaking the fuck out as I climbed the stairs. I got almost halfway up when someone started banging on the front door, which is right in front of the stairs. I froze. I turned halfway so no one could surprise me from the second floor. "Who's there?" I screamed. My cover was blown anyway. If anyone was in the house, they knew I was there. Whoever was outside could see me through the glass at the top of the door, but it was too dark for me to see them. No one answered, but they kept pounding on the door. "Who the fuck is it?" I screamed. Now at the base of the steps, they kept banging on the door. "I'll kill you, motherfucker," I screamed as I flung open the door to see my mother standing there with the dogs in her arms. "Why didn't you answer?" I asked. She said she wasn't sure if it was me or not. And if it hadn't been me, what were you going to do? Throw the dogs at them? She hadn't thought that far ahead. I told her the back door had been open, but she said it had been locked when she left. I said I'd checked most of the downstairs and was going upstairs for the gun. She said go up and get it, so I went up with my knife and checked the upstairs while I was at it. Then I checked the rest of the downstairs. She had taken my brother to a friend's house, which is why she hadn't answered the phone when I called. She'd been driving. I spent the night barricading the doors and windows and begging her to leave. Just leave. She baked me some cookies. Her face was blue and purple from her husband's last visit. She said my brother had tried to protect her and he didn't look so great either. I said I'd kill her husband. She said she knew and so did he, which is why he left when they called me. I feel like I should mention I'm a chick, and he was a good foot taller than me and easily 50 pounds heavier, but I would have killed him. In the morning, I had to leave early to be at PT for ROTC at 5:30 a.m. I had maybe 45 minutes of sleep where my mom had asked me to stay on the living room floor outside the master bedroom. I lost it at PT and then again in my weekly meeting with my athletics advisor. My ROTC instructors and my athletic advisor were horrified. We got a restraining order that day against my mom's husband. He couldn't come on campus. I wasn't allowed to walk on campus alone. My roommate roommates got extra security. A few weeks later, my mom's husband tried to kill her on my 19th birthday. He was in his car and he'd thrown her a phone, which she was using to dial 911 on the passenger seat. She'd reached in to get it and he grabbed her arm and held her while he reversed out of the driveway and dragged her down the alley. He let go and her head slammed against the ground. She had a concussion. He tried to back over her, but she screamed and rolled away. He ran over her foot and hand. Our neighbor came out of the house and screamed, which scared him away. My mother and brother went into hiding that night. Being on those stairs, certain my family was dead and I was also about to die was the scariest moment of my life. And having someone bang on the door and not answer when I'm screaming at them, having to open it thinking it was a killer on the other side. Creepiest thing ever. Number 2. I was born and raised in North Dakota. Back when I was in high school, a group of us would research murders that occurred out in the country. We would then go out and find the scenes and film the exploration at night. This was about 2 years before the Blair Witch. It was something to do while we got wasted on shitty beer and teenage bullshit. Eventually we ran out of places to go and got really good at finding abandoned rural farmsteads by driving dirt roads and looking for the signs. Rut roads, deliberate tree groves, and old mailbox posts were common markers. We were out looking when we spotted a tree grove that was out of place and drove through the field and discovered an old house. It had padlocks on the outside doors that were knocked off pretty easily. We dispatched of them and entered the kitchen. There were 6 of us, all with flashlights, and we lit up the kitchen dining area fairly easy. The table was the initial thing you noticed, and it was strange because of how normal it looked. It was set for a meal and not a bowl was out of place. Only thing was, we'd been in dozens of these houses and place settings were a first, especially on broken ones. As we investigated the area, we found the fridge had the disgusting remnants of a full stock and the cupboards were full of canned and dry foods. This was also a first. One guy found mail on the counter from early June 1978 and the other found a creepy-ass TV guide in the living room with UFOs on the cover. All the family photos were hanging up. Mom, Dad, bro, and sis in their 1970s glory. Furniture was dusty but in good condition. Closets were full. Everything was totally normal, which was super abnormal. As we dug around the house, we started to realize that the house had not been moved out of. It has been straight up abandoned. Imagine locking the door to your house and never coming back. That's the state this house was in. Complete unplanned departure. We went upstairs and split into 3 pairs to check out the 3 rooms. Ours was the closest.
Oh, you know they're white! Go upstairs in a strange house with the Blair Witch Project and crazy bullshit in the forest. The first thing you do is part ways from the homies.
And obviously it was the younger boy's room. I can't describe what it looked like too well because almost right away from the hall we heard the most fucking terrifying scream I'd ever had the misfortune of hearing. We went running into the hallway and we were all yelling questions at each other at the same time. After a few seconds, the 2 screamers caught their breath and said, "You have to go in and see." Walking down the hall and through the doorway, I prayed I wouldn't act like a pussy in front of my friends. I shouldn't have been concerned because the others were just as scared as I was. The room itself opened to the left of the door frame and centered on the right side of the room was a queenish-sized bed. Propped up on pillows with all the blankets drawn to the waist, arms on the top of the blanket, and worst of all, head turned slightly so it was looking at you straight in the eyes when you entered the room, was a life-size porcelain doll. Snow white skin, jet black hair, cold dead eyes. The dead eyes lit up with our flashlights, like she was waiting for us. If the head hadn't been turned, I could excuse it, but it was turned, ready for when we walked in. Ready for 20 years. Hasty fucking exits were made as we moved down the stairs and got into the car. It was during the ride we started to get even more creeped out when we realized that even though the house had been abandoned, someone had taken the time to set up that goddamn doll. Not packing food, clothes, or family photos, setting up the doll was one of the last things done in this house. We researched their names but got nothing. No tragic car accident, no grisly massacre, no extended family, just a tacky time capsule in the middle of nowhere. We found out that the county had taken possession of the land for non-payment of taxes, explaining the locks, but never tracked down any more information on what happened to them, or why they left that fucking doll. Number 1. A few years back I rented an apartment from a friend of mine. He had recently bought it and had it completely renovated. He put it up for sale but couldn't find a buyer, so I offered to rent it in the meantime. After moving in, I realized that there was something wrong with the lady next door. She was about 45 but looked much older. She would sit up all night listening to Christian radio shows and talking loudly to someone. It got to the point where I couldn't sleep, so I went over to her place and asked her to keep it down. She opened the door and I got a quick peek. Her walls had crosses painted all over them in different colors, and words like Jesus and angel scribbled everywhere. The windows were painted black, letting no light in at all. It was damp, yellow-stained 50-year-old carpets, dog shit and cockroaches everywhere. No dog, though. I asked her to keep it down. She just looked at me and shut the door. Then she turned up the radio even louder. The next night I had my girlfriend staying over. I wake up in the middle of the night and see a shadow of a person next to the bed looking at us sleeping. I think I'm hallucinating this as I usually do in the dark when I'm sleepy. But then the shadow starts talking. It's my neighbor and she's holding something in her hand. She broke in during the night and who knows how long she stood there. You should lock your doors at night, she said.
Kill this bitch!
The next morning I hear someone making strange noises below my bedroom window. It's my neighbor talking to herself in tongue. She has a plastic bag in her hand with a rotting dead dog inside. It's hot as hell outside and I can smell death from the bag. At this point I'm scared shitless. She's obviously very insane. I go upstairs and knock on another person's door and ask what the hell is going on. The guy's just as scared as me. Apparently she broke into the apartment one evening as well while he was watching TV with his kids. He got up from the couch to get a snack only to find her behind the couch staring at him holding a power drill. Now I know what was in her hand. At this stage, I'm basically pooping myself. I call the cops and they know about her. Apparently she is a violent schizophrenic and she hasn't taken her meds, but they can't force her or enter her apartment without her permission because she owns it. The only thing they can do is get her when she goes outside. I sit up for the next 2 days waiting for her to run out of cigarettes. When I hear her leave at 2 a.m. to go across the road to the 7-Eleven, I call the cops. They have 3 cars and a special van over in less than 2 minutes. They restrain her, throw her in the van, and drive off to some institution. And in less than a minute, it's like she was never there. I never see her again. Still have nightmares about her looking at me in my sleep.
Dude, whoo! Woo! See, Cedric the Entertainer. If you guys ever seen the original Kings of Comedy, man, he has this bit that he tells. It's like, most people live by this whole, creed. I hope nothing goes bad. You know what I mean? Like, man, we people who are used to living in unsavory areas, we have a whole different creed. It's called I wish. I wish.
can I do? What can I do? I can actually... No. Don't you want that antidote? Don't you want that antidote? Don't you want that? Ooh, ooh, ooh. Don't you want that antidote? Don't you want that antidote? Oh, don't you want that antidote? Hey, rainbow. Thank you, sir. Captain Julius. Oh wait, you can do it. You can do the same reference again. That's funny. I wonder if you could do that. Body change. Bruh, I'll be dang if I can't body change and stuff, bro. I'll be dang, y'all. I'm gonna be done. I can't do it, y'all. Oh, snap. Oh, yeah. You want that antidote?
Did you feel that? An evil, it'll be soon.
He finally escaped.
It's the revival of the demon god. Is this a dream? What's going on?
You arrived from the netherworld.
It was past. That's news. My best guess is that someone has been tinkering around with it. The Dragon Balls. Democrats abusing their power. I don't know who the heck you're talking about or what sort of scheme he's planning. But obviously, I'm going to do exactly as I please.
And now, I will destroy the earth and make that Saiyan's face twist in pain.
Don't give up! Goku, I heard everything from this great entire time! Now, fight you!
The mind spirit. Perfect in every way. I am perfect self. Nothing's perfect self. Not even you. You're through now. Die. control you. I know you're stronger than that.
Trunks?
Father, can you hear me? Good enough. But we're almost there.
Don't do that. I was so close.
Did you feel that?
To be in my apartment unannounced with a weapon and have the nerve not to have used it on me already. Oh man, they getting beaten up in teabag. It's going down. Man, oh my God, that last story, yo, dude. That chick better have not had no plans for the rest of anything else because she got taken out that night. Damn that. Damn that. Yo. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, man. Dude, honestly, man, this is becoming one of my favorite channels. No bullshit, man. I'm gonna subscribe to this dude. Hit the link down below. Go watch the original video, man. This guy probably makes some of the most entertaining top 10, top 15, top 20 videos on YouTube to me right now, other than Matthew Santoro. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to comment, like, and or subscribe. It's your boy Blasphemous HD.
Okay, let's get this over with. Time's up to
Do I have final? Hold on.
What is going on, my super sandwiches? Ramsey here, and today I'm going to show you some super attacks that I believe are really good in Dragon Ball Z Universe. Now, before I continue, I will say that I don't have every single super move unlocked, so if there's anything that I missed, feel free to drop in the comment section below to let me know that you're using that attack rather than the ones I've displayed in this video. But I'm going to split this video into 3 parts. Part 1 is going to cover the Strike Supers, Part 2 is going to cover the Ki Blast, and Part 3 is going to be more about the escape moves like Instant Transmission, After Image, and all that good stuff. So without further ado, let's jump into the Strike Supers first. Now, for the Strike Supers, I'm actually not a big fan of them. The only ones I tend to use are the draining ones, which is what I'm going to display in this part video. So I've equipped basically the Ki Drain, the Stamina Drain, and then the Drain for both of them for this character. And then the 4th super that I'm going to...
What's going on, everybody? It's Nikuba, and today I'm here with another discussion video for Dragon Ball Z Universe 2. So today's topic is going to be the top 5 best brand new super attacks in the Dragon Ball Z Universe 2 closed beta. Now note that this list is of my own opinion, and you guys...
Hello everyone, and welcome to another of my Super Ultra Ultimate Attack demonstration. Today I'll be showing off an ultimate attack so powerful, no one has dared to use it because of how difficult it is to be used. But now I will show you its true power. Let us begin.
You better not bore me.
Oh, he won't be bored after this. Fuck you up! Oh, fuck you up!
Now throughout this video I will be describing to you pretty much how to get the majority of these. So we're going to start off with number 12 and 11 in an offline parallel quest and see which one of these attacks is more superior than the other. Obviously I already have them in a list on which got Super Vegeta and Maximum Charge, a part of my custom character here, and some of my abilities and everything are all balanced out. So we're going to go ahead and charge up our key. Freeze is going to go to Pound Town with us. So let's Super Vegeta. He pushes back. Oh, whoops, I accidentally pressed left and right trigger and Super Vanishing Ball. Alright, so what we can do, as you can see there, a lot of these Ki Blast super attacks go great with ultimate attacks. So as you can see, bam, close range. We've already freaking messed up Frieza. So if you tap X, if you're on Xbox One and you tap X, and it charges the light grenade for you, and it'll do more damage. Same thing with Evil Explosion. A lot of these attacks have pros and cons, so I'd like to think of it as Evil Explosion and Light Grenade just as good as each other. So tap that X. Look at how much damage it just did to Frieza. That's quite a bit amount of damage. So hold down X now, and this will push out the Evil Explosion more. So I like to think of the Evil Explosion and the Light Grenade both just as good as each other. And they both pretty much do the same amount of damage. So the pros is both of these attacks just right off the bat do a great amount of damage. The cons is if you're trying to charge the attack to do more damage, you put yourself at risk to getting attacked by the enemy. So we're going to go ahead, skill set, and we're going to put on Super Ghost Kamikaze Attack and Die Missile Barrage. Now how to get Light Grenade and Evil Explosion, you must pretty much complete Piccolo's training. So to get this Super Ghost Kamikaze Attack and Die Missile Barrage, these are both super attacks by Gotenks. So to get both of these super attacks, you must complete Gotenks' training. Now, at number 10, we've got Super Ghost Kamikaze Attack, and at number 9, we've got Die Missile Barrage. Now, I like to think of Die Missile Barrage as more of a superior attack than Super Ghost. What's up, my friends and my new friends? I'm Zero Laredo, Cog Incorporated, and welcome to my channel. Today's Dragon Ball Xenoverse video, I'll be discussing with you my thoughts on what I think the top 5 best strike scale super attacks are in the game Dragon Ball Xenoverse. So, as you can see, we are in the super attacks skills option menu of the pause screen, and as you can see, strike skills to the right. These are all strike skills. The little icon picture next to the name of the skill that it looks like a meteor crashing, firing meteor, or like you punched a hole through a glass window or something, or a wall. I don't know. But anyway, these are like strike skill supers. So all of these right here, I'm gonna pick 5 of them from. I'm not gonna cover all of them, but there is a list of 5 of them that I honestly think are the best. So we're going to go ahead with Super Drain and Gigantic Omega in this first run. So we're going to go ahead and travel, walk all the way over here to our offline battles and 1v1 an opponent.
don't know what's more of a mess. My hair? My room?
What's up, my friends? Best cock soldiers on YouTube. Today I have a very special Dragon Ball Xenoverse video for you guys that I hope all of you will enjoy. And I'm sorry lately I haven't been putting up too much Dragon Ball Xenoverse content. I've been so caught up in The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, Elder Scrolls Online, Batman Arkham Knight, and so today I have the top 10 ultimate attacks for you guys with DLC included. So what that means is I will be including all, well, not all of them, but the best DLC ultimate attacks from my knowledge that I think are the best. Now, to launch the attack, and there's quite a bit of delay with it. Now with Spear of Destruction, it does quite a bit amount of damage, but there's not really that much delay with it to launch the attack at your enemy.
More Saiyans? I mean, besides Goku and the others? Let's work together. Krillin, Yamcha, I know. We're gonna show our martial arts first. I'll tell you one thing. There's nothing more reassuring than finding your own sign form or life. Not bad.
Hello? Dang it. Hello? Alright. Oh wait, hold on.